Good afternoon to you viewers, this is the Colonel speaking to you live from the Grange for British Imperial YouTube Broadcasting, and today I'm going to show you how to make fibre needles. I should stress before I do so that anything I do is for demonstration purposes only, and if you copy what I do, it's up to you, but it's at your own responsibility. If you're particularly stupid and don't know how to handle a knife, then don't! Quite simple, really. Right, now fibre needles are often used with gramophones. To play 78s. They have a much more mellow tone and reputedly don't damage the record quite so much as steel, although I must admit in all the years I've had records I haven't really noticed steel needles, if you change them regularly, doing much damage at all, but there we are. Now the first thing you need is some bamboo. Now I happen to inherit a house in which, when I was rummaging around looking for gold sovereigns and things, I found lots of lengths of bamboo about 6-7 foot long up in the old laundry. What they were for I've no idea, but I thought that I might as well use those. They're about 100 years old and are very dry, but I've been using them anyway, and they're all right for the job in hand. Now, a lot of people use garden cane. Well, that's not quite so good unless you want to thrash somebody, and a lot of people around here need damn good thrashing. Anyway, enough of the jokes. This is the bamboo I found, this is the garden cane. Now, you'll notice the difference in size, and really it's the same material, it's just the garden cane is considerably smaller and a lot more difficult to muck about with in making fibre needles. Now, as you see, those are Ginn or Davy rather cutters for cutting and resharpening fibre needles. Now, you have to make the fibre needles the right size. If they're too big, they won't fit the soundbox opening, or indeed the cutters. So you need to make the needles more or less the right size for those. Any smaller and you get a sort of lesser tone. We don't want that, do we, viewers? Now, as you see, I've already made a slot with the knife. I'm keeping my hands well out of the way of the blade, as you should do. Now, you need to cut a triangle. Now, it's most important. The important bit is not the fibrous bit in the middle here. It's the outer edge where the bamboo has got a sort of rind or sort of outer surface, which is much tougher. Now, to make a decent fibre needle, got to put that on there. We don't need the whole thickness of the... There it is, and there a new fibre needle is born, viewers. A little bit small, but not too bad. Now, the most difficult bit is actually putting a point on it. I've actually cut that a little bit too wedge-shaped. As you can see, it needs to be a little bit fatter. Now, I'll just put you down a second, have a look at that, whilst I put this through the cutters. Now, this is the most difficult part, because, there we are, yes. No, that's not right. That's it. Now, you need to put the point, which I've just done, so that it's inserted into the sound box with the outer edge of the rind running as the point. That's the point, really. I'll just recut that, because I notice there's a little bit of a ragged edge there which we don't want. And that's it. Right. Now I'm going to demonstrate to you how it works. Now you've got to put the needle in the sound box. Hopefully I've not cut it too big, and it... Oh no, I haven't, thank goodness for that. I'm using my normal Meltrope soundbox, but any soundbox that accommodates fibre will do. Here we go. Let's see if it plays. Now you can hear a bit of distortion on the point there. That's because it's not dry enough. That's where these things come in. These little pots here. Now you couldn't use these are original Davy and Ginn ones. And there we are. And in the bottom are some silicon crystals for taking the moisture out of the needles. What I suggest is putting the needles you make on a sort of tin lid on top of a radiator for a couple of hours, and then putting them in a sealed tin box or a plastic box, but anything that's sort of won't let the damp in, with some of these silicon crystals. You can get them in packets. You often find them in boxes of new shoes and things like that, and that'll make a much better tone. I'll try a needle I made earlier in the gramophone. There we go. And we'll see if that will run to a whole side of a record. It may do. I always use wax on my records, as you know. No, it's not dry enough. And it's most important to keep fibre needles are a bit of a nuisance really, unless they're dried properly and absolutely dry and used in the right circumstances with records that aren't too heavily recorded. They don't do very well at all. Anyway, that's a modest demonstration of these things. Hope you enjoyed it. Thank you and goodbye.